my name is Rachel and I love to cook. So welcome to another episode of DOMESTIGOTH, where I attempt to make a new recipe in my Ninja Foodie Pressure Cooker. And today's recipe is actually a recipe that I absolutely love to make. I make it in just a pan on the stove fairly often, and it's actually a vegetarian, actually it might even be a vegan dish. I don't think there's any non-vegan ingredients in this, but it's Aloo Gobi, which is a Indian curry dish, and then I turn it into a coconut curry with a can of coconut milk at the very end. Now I am nervous about making this in a pressure cooker because I'm afraid my vegetables are going to get too mushy. So I have the normal recipe that I make, and then as normal, I read a bunch of other recipes, including a bunch of pressure cooker recipes to get ideas to figure out how to best do this. So fingers crossed, hoping this comes out edible. But let's get started. First, let's go over all the ingredients that I will be using for this dish. Of course, I almost always start my dishes with an onion diced and roughly 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. I'm going to be using a can of diced tomatoes. There's going to be some ginger paste. I have this mild curry powder, ground cumin, ground turmeric, ground coriander, and to add a little bit of spice, I do have these crushed red pepper flakes and this mango habanero spice mix. I don't normally use this in this dish, but I have these hemp seeds that I want to use up, so I'm just tossing these hemp seeds in there because that's what I do. I use stuff up in my recipes. And then this is roughly 4 small to medium size red potatoes cut into roughly like 1 inch, maybe ½ inch chunks. And this is 1 medium head of cauliflower decored and cut into florets. Also, I'm going to be using a little bit of just regular table salt, some vegetable stock. Of course, I'll need some olive oil. And I already showed you my can of coconut milk. Let me get you to a different angle and we'll get to the Instapot going with cooking. Alright, so our first step, of course, is to turn on our Instapot. We're going to choose Sear Saute on high, and we're going to add some olive oil. And once that olive oil heats up, I'll bring you back. So our oil is nice and hot, and we're ready to start. Now, in a real recipe, you would actually use cumin seeds and throw them in the oil first. I don't have cumin seeds, and I'm trying to use up these hemp seeds, and I don't think they have any similarities, but I'm just throwing in these hemp seeds so I can use them up. And then I'm throwing in my diced onion and my garlic. And I'm going to cook this until my onions are translucent. Okay, so the onions are translucent. Next I'm going to add all of my seasonings. So I'm going to squeeze in some of this garlic paste. Roughly a tablespoon. I do about a tablespoon of this. A little extra because some spills out. But this is the mild curry powder. Next up, we're doing the ground cumin, and I'm doing roughly a teaspoon. Again, always a little extra because some spills out on the edges. Ground turmeric, also a teaspoon. Ground coriander, another teaspoon. Do you like my exact measurements? Just under a teaspoon of the crushed red pepper. I don't want to make it too spicy. I can't handle too spicy. I like what they call American spicy. And then about a teaspoon of the mango habanero. Toss in some table salt. Give that a stir. And then throw in the can of tomatoes. That smells really fragrant and nice. So next I'm actually going to throw in my potatoes. And I'm just going to cook my potatoes for a few minutes. And I'll bring you back shortly. Okay, so this is where things are going to get tricky. Like when I make this on the stove, I normally saute my cauliflower first and get it a little crispy, and then put it on the side before adding it back to the dish at the end. And obviously I'm not doing that because I'm doing this all in this one pot sort of thing. So the tricky part, of course, is the pressure cooking, because I don't want my vegetables to get all mushy, but I still need them to get cooked. So I'm going to put in my cauliflower. I'm turning off sear saute. I'm not going to stir it. I'm going to put in a third of a cup of this vegetable broth. Like, I'm worried I'm not going to have enough liquid to get it to pressure, but I'm also worried if I have too much liquids, it's going to be soupy, and I don't want that. So I'm going to start with this third of a cup of vegetable broth. And of course, here's the lid. We want to make sure our seal right here is over on the seal side, because there's also the vent side, but we want it on the seal side. We're going to put on our pressure cooking lid. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, make sure you stir everything. If there's any like burnt bits at the bottom, you get those burnt bits scraped up. So that's an important step. So I'm going to put this on pressure cook, and we're actually going to pressure cook on low. And we're going to try low for 3 minutes. And hopefully there's enough liquid in here for it to get up to pressure. If there's not, of course, the machine will tell me, and then I will just add more liquid, and I'll let you know if that does happen. But we're going to start this pressure cook cycle. And I will bring you back once all that is done. Our pressure cook cycle is done. I'm going to do a quick release on the steam. And when that's done, I'll bring you back. I have to say, it does smell really good in here. Hopefully my vegetables aren't too mushy. So I'm going to, of course, always open away from yourself so you don't get splashed. Our cauliflower is cooked. Our potatoes are cooked. The potatoes are still nice and firm. The cauliflower might be a touch mushy. I'm going to give this all a nice stir. Get it all mixed up. My cauliflower is so soft with the stirring, it's sort of turning into like cauliflower rice. Okay, and if you were just going for the aloo gobi, you would just stop here and eat it. This is something that you could definitely serve over rice. I'm not going to make rice with this. I'm just going to eat it like this, but I am going to turn it into a coconut curry by adding my can of coconut milk. And I'm currently on keep warm, and that should be more than enough heat because you don't want to overheat your coconut milk. And then just give that a stir. Now, of course, this did make it rather liquidy. So it's actually kind of soupy right now. And actually, I feel like the the liquid was good before I added the coconut milk. That was a good consistency for this dish, but you know, obviously I just added a bunch more liquid to it. So now we try it. And all that liquid would be great over rice because the rice would soak that right up. And you can see my little hemp seeds are all in there. I think the potatoes are perfect. The hemp seeds are crunchy still, so that's interesting. And you can't really taste them, so they're just like a little extra crunch and protein in there. Just a very small touch of heat from the habanero mango and the crushed peppers, crushed chili pepper seeds or chili pepper. And I think maybe I should have added another tablespoon of the mild curry powder. Other than that, I think that this came out rather well. So yeah, I think that this does work. I might still like it cooked on the stove better, and this would definitely be good with some rice. So thank you guys so much for watching another episode of DOMESTIGOTH, where I make random dishes in my Ninja Foodie. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can give me a thumbs down, but please leave me some constructive criticism in the comments below so that I can improve, and please subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone is just staying happy, healthy, and safe in this incredibly crazy world we are living in, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye!